Dun, dun, dun. Good morning. This is Dr. Mia Lueth. Both of us with really fine hair. Yeah, it's hard to keep things in our hair, like bows and right. People with really fine hair understand what I'm saying. It's like hard to keep a headband without like having it really tight, and I can't do really tight. A lot of us can't back here. We don't want that pushing. So this is an ouchless. Goody, Goody makes an ouchless, and so okay, it tells you the left and the right for one thing. Also, right, but these things right here flexible, so that it's not like yep, you don't want that all the time. Yeah. So oh, there's one of my morning alarms. Yes, indeed. It's not hockey talk this morning, but I do have the NHL network on. It is the Heritage Classic, the Calgary Edmonton, courtesy of Sportsnet. Yeah, so it's outdoors with Nugent Hopkins in there, so right. Um, so I'm just watching. There's some games I've watched quite a few times actually. Um, but yes, NHL channel, things are getting better in my life now. Even if they're getting worse, of course. Uh, I do actually tend to use this. These things are ridiculous, man. I don't care. Like, don't use your own mind. Think for yourself. Form your own opinions. It's okay to do that. Okay. Well, this is what I'm trying to say. Is this? These are. Like, you can't fit them in your pocket. They fall all the time. Your butt dial. Most people don't understand how to use it right. Like, yeah, I know. Operating systems and apps. Like, it's just like DSL. Yes, apps are just like temporary, okay, but it's like software, except it's smaller packet. I'm waiting for the tech to catch up to me because people are right, but a lot of people are convinced of some bad, horrible stuff, and so you'll understand eventually. And there's some things that people don't need to understand, is what I'm trying to say. Like, trying to understand things when you don't have even the basic understanding of certain, like a base, a solid foundation. Uh, it's, I mean, stop for a little while, trying. For a little while, stop trying to understand certain things. I mean, and those of us who understand some things might not understand other things that you understand. Okay, like, but what I'm saying to keep the kids 15 and under and the seniors 70 and over out of the deep end, please. Like, you don't need to be in there. And some of you trying to create levels that don't even exist. I'm like, no, that's not. Okay, that's not reality. Here you go, kids. Yeah, you just leave that on all day. You know what I'm saying? Um, right. But I would like people who claim to be of a different air group, religion, blah, 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 on earth to know that in Scripture, particularly Revelation, which is singular, there are 7 churches. 7 lampstands, 7 nights, 7 churches. So it could be that, like Muslims are in this church, and the Christians are in this church, and these kinds are in this church. That could be. Well, some of the made up BS is gonna just disappear from YouTube. Okay, but I'm sort of going through some things to say. Sometimes it still happens on Earth, but it's happening less and less because the sources are being fed. Sometimes children are isolated and indoctrinated and repetitively told things and shown things and so on and so forth so that they can be used up and convinced that what they're doing for religion or heaven or hell or this church or that church or these people or that people is some, you know, beautiful, wonderful thing. And particularly, you get a prize. Like, and if it kills you, you get a prize in this wonderful place where, you know, the thing is that that usually appeals to people who think about material stuff all the time. So to know how to be sure, don't want anything. Right? Like just do it. Just without like wanting some kind of reward or prize or because then the reality can't be denied. And then you're sure. Right, even if you've been worked on that way. Okay. But I gotta tell you, is that there are because some of them get found and some of them get helped. See, like for instance, some of them might have come from somewhere outside the US, but they're now in the US and they might actually be in a prison. But they're probably much safer there. And they may have done something, okay? But it may be because they just were used. And they were convinced that this is absolutely the 100% right thing to do for their people or their cause or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? So compassionate people sometimes understand this. And so it has to get undone. But you might have to do a little work to help them see and understand that they just got used. And they're told the same, you know, actual real BS. But because, they were just brain trained from the time they were very young. Okay, they were used. They were abused. They may have done something that from the outside we all look, oh, he's a horrible, evil murderer. No, that's not just fucking true. Okay, it actually might be like that person was not even mentally healthy enough to be aware that what they did was wrong. And so when it comes to certain things, like it, if there is information that we need, and someone's in the U.S. and people might think they're air quote terrorists or some other kind of thing. Okay, we never need to do the waterboarding or the bamboo one of the fingernails because you got to make it stick. And law enforcement has certain limitations. They got to do it by the book. Okay, they can't have you know video of them like dragging them around or putting them in the hole and not feeding them and whatever. You get what I'm trying to say? Compassion works. And some people were put under the wrong influences since the time they were children. But I mean, if it really comes down to it, right? You don't have to touch them. No contact on video. Like if they're getting air quote interrogated, you don't need to do all this Hollywood. You just sit and you talk to, and you have cameras everywhere to go. Right for their like to show judges and anybody else. Nobody's touching them. They got food on a regular basis. They got exercise on a regular basis. That right, you understand? We didn't do anything to them physically that wasn't. They get care from a doctor. They got okay everything like completely by the human law enforcement book. And in some cases, they might be found not guilty, perhaps by reason of insanity, because you know, but they might be able to help identify the influential source. So on Earth, fewer and fewer people are going through that. Okay, compassion. So the court of public opinion is unschooled, unaware, and quite honestly, a lot of us are very very grateful that you don't get to decide certain things. The angry mobs, right? Like I guarantee you, a lot of you are taking up arms and doing for the dumbest reasons. Critical thinking is allowed, both males and females, on planet Earth. Some people that might be in a federal prison because, right, they may have done something, but because they were indoctrinated from the time you were a kid, they basically got used, and they're willing to go through all kinds of, and because they are getting a prize in heaven, or they're being martyred for their people, and they get the high set. The way to know for sure is, well, I didn't do it for any of that. And I'm not going to do that. Okay. So, I mean, no, I'm trained in a certain way, but I don't need to, I really don't need to use that. It's not going to get to that point. And so, yeah, no contact. Right? Like, but some of them, even just the thought of it, it's like it can't even be made real, and it's actually against the law. But just even the thought of it, somebody fold quick. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, some of it can sound like a John Grisham novel or something, but the fact of the matter is, there are people who are abundantly aware, which is why we don't teach children their psychic skills. So they're all blinded. Is real. That is right. My name is Dr. Mia Lueth. It is November 6th, 2025, 7:32 a.m. Eastern Time, USA. We don't teach that anymore. Now, some people think, oh, you're erasing the memory now, but some of that is mercy. I can't have any of my memories erased. They can be archived and whatever. Some of us are able to, we're built in a way, okay? So, you may think, oh, it can be like that when, you can't. Okay, you want to be like you, and now someone else. I mean, well, I'm not talking about how Hollywood, how actors do their stuff, I, whatever. Uh, I'm talking about just regular real world people, and I'm not in the entertainment industry. I'm entertainment industry adjacent, but I'm not here to entertain you. I've been told I'm kind of funny and entertaining, but I kind of know when to, yes, like not do that. It's like it's too solemn a time right now to be Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that people don't understand on planet Earth. Hi. Okay, not a single one of us knows everything. None of us do. And that's kind of the way it's meant to be. I mean, yeah, you really don't need to weigh yourself down with certain things sometimes because it's already taken care of, or it's not reality. It's not gonna become reality. But no, we don't need to be waterboarding anybody or bamboo under the fingers or any other kind of thing. Or threatening. Don't even need to lie. Like, you don't even need to be sitting. Hello, U.S. law enforcement. You don't need to be sitting here and say, "Oh, well, your friend already told us," because then you've lied. You don't even need to do that. Okay, so just let's let's rebuild a little bit of trust here and there because you know. Well, and here's the other thing is I can understand people they're just seeing death and blood and gore and disaster and all this stuff all the time because what they do and what they need a break from it for a while sometimes because it can start changing the way you think in ways that you have difficulty not being suspicious of everybody. Okay, and so right, so sometimes people might do something for a living, but they have to, like switch out for a little while and then do something else that reminds them, it helps them, right, kind of ease back off all that and not, some people have jobs that are kind of like that. And so sometimes they need more time off or they do rotations. It's like, okay, well, all right, I'm going to do this, like these 2 years I'm doing this. So they can kind of like take a deep breath, like see the good reality the way it is, knowing that what they normally see and that isn't how everything is on Earth. Okay, we don't live in a fallen world. We don't. That's just not true. I mean, we don't live in a fallen world. But, some people, they just like to stay and look at all the disaster and the ugly, and they get stuck there and they think that there's nothing but evil everywhere and blah, 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 blah. That's just not true. Okay, that's a falsehood. Let that go. Like, find a way to concentrate on something else. Some people might need help doing that. Some people might need help being distracted, actually. Right? Like, goodness and love just can't be defeated in any way. It might seem like you went away for a little while. It might seem like, well, it depends on what's happened to somebody, or what they do for a living, or what they're around when they're children. Okay, and that's the same for human beings all over planet Earth, no matter where you live. We don't live in a fallen world. Okay, we don't. And the business of air quote angels is not the business of humans. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's two separate, completely different things. two separate, completely different things. Okay, the business of humans. Do you understand? Humans don't are not angels. Angels are not human. Now I know some people will say somebody's an angel because they're, kind and they put up stuff and they're caring and they've allowed some, but that's a different. They're not physically, actually, really, in truth and reality, literally angels that people think have wings and all these other types of things. Okay, like supernatural beings. Okay, well, some people's minds can't understand the difference between figurative and literative, uh, literal. But slowly but surely, they can actually be taught the difference. And once those sort of neural pathways are built, okay, and then it's reinforced and it's reinforced and it's reinforced, slowly but surely, it then becomes where they can actually start to discern and understand. So the sooner we understand this when they're children, the sooner someone can start helping them get those neural pathways built. So if they aren't there or they were damaged, uh, they can be rebuilt. But you gotta have people who know how to do that, and it takes time. I mean, it can get frustrating too. So you have to remember, once frustration starts, you just kind of start learning. It starts to become have like a negative effect. So always say breaks. Always include breaks from that. And then, right, the more you understand yourself really well, the more you understand, you can say, well, I'm getting frustrated. I need to take a break. Okay? So human beings help the children know and understand themselves really, really well. That's every single human on earth. Every single one. Okay? So let's get out of the deep end here, everybody. um, I'm grateful I have the NHL network, so I can start refamiliarizing myself with some stuff. Uh, but this is what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of things are actually fiction, okay? And it, it is, sad. I mean, it can be frustrating. It can be difficult on a person to know and understand that little children are, raised up being taught things that just cause harm. You understand? So the reality is, we're not in some fallen world. Come on. Well, this is what I'm saying. Ask some of my brothers who are available and have some time. Jump in, help me out. But yeah, I'm all right. I mean, I'm okay enough. It's fine. Uh, but this is what I'm trying to say is that you the people who want to try and understand the mind of air quote God, it's like, well, you're not built that. Some of you who think you can carry a load and I'm tough and I'm and I'm blah blah blah. Okay, stop fooling yourselves. Some of you are who you are, and you might look at somebody else and say, I want that, but maybe you don't. Maybe there's something for you, more for you. So instead of trying to take from another, I mean, there's always a way, but unfortunately, over generation of some are taught a way that ends up causing them later huge tanking disaster, and then ends up pulling an entire family tree out by the roots. So instead of doing that, number one, everybody back off me just a little. Jeez, man. I got plenty of witnesses. I'm not a violent person. Sometimes I know people are just getting it out. Like sometimes my presence can pull out, good potential from people. Pull out goodness and show them like, oh yeah, hey, you got skills. I mean, you may not be able to do this right here, but you can do this right here. Not many people can do that. Okay, right? And they're positive attributes, and right, some are just dull their whole life. So you do have to do a little work, right, to get them not to believe, but to trust and know that, like, well, I'm not kidding you. I mean, look, you're really good at that. Yeah, slowly but surely, but that's also getting to know themselves, because some are not brought up that way, and it shouldn't be like that. But there's some. It's working. It's working. It's talking works. Okay. Okay. Quit being so judgy human beings. You understand your own selves. And if that's not the way you were raised up, even 60-year-olds can stop and take time to do that. Even 70-year-olds can stop and take time to do that. Even 80-year-olds, you understand? So if you aren't raised up like that, you can still do that. That is exactly equally the same for every single human being walking the planet. Now, I'm on a covenant, and I've been on that covenant, and I'm trusted with certain things and the stresses and pressures that I have in a spiritual sense, and the other things aren't seen by most. Do you understand? I mean, it doesn't. You get what I'm trying to say? But because I know about that, I also know about the stresses and pressures that happen other places. Now, see, my specialty is men's ice hockey. And so, what I'm saying to the females is like, I'm helping you indirectly through the males. So, not directly, okay? Because it wouldn't be right of me to influence. You understand? Okay? So, that's my specialty. Is men's ice hockey. And what people need to understand is that, yes, there's now a professional women's ice hockey club. And, so now the females are now having more open doors and more chances to up their level of compete. But it is not at the same level as the males, right? Because this is a new open door for the females, and they're learning and they're figuring out their potentials. And young females are now being born, and they now know, okay, well then like they find out when they're young, well, I really love ice hockey. They got something to aim at now. Okay, so it's okay if, like, if the men played the women, the men would likely win. Okay, but that's okay. That's okay. It's like equal in a different way. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so the males have been working on this for a really, really long time, but these options now for females, like colleges and everywhere around the world now, females who find out that they love ice hockey can see that if they keep going, if they keep going, if they keep going, if they keep going, if they keep playing, if they keep learning, if they keep, aiming at, I really do want to play ice hockey for as long as I can. And if I can earn a living, you understand? Okay, they have that now. That open door now, they have it. So over time, compete level for females might look a little different than compete level for males, but it's supposed to. Okay? It's supposed to. So the females born now who get a chance to play some kind of hockey, it could be broom hockey, it could be street hockey, maybe field hockey, whatever kind of hockey, and they realize that they, maybe they like to skate or they get a try on ice and they like the woo, it's there are people I know. I used to have I ride motorcycles, mostly dirt bikes, but some street legal, and I understood, like, it's like the wind in your hair, it's like freedom, it's like you're open, it's like nature, you're not like all encased in like a car. Uh it's kind of the same thing. Like you get on ice and it's like, it's like, I like this is good, you know, this is what I like to do, this is where I want to be. You feel like you're moving faster than walking, and they can be a little exhilarating and all that kind of stuff. So if females in the world today now have an open door that they can aim at, and that possibility is there. So maybe they pick a certain college or university because that one has a hockey. Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Maybe, sometimes parents will move uh, somewhere so that you can, like, closer to like a hockey town so that you can play. It's not meant to mean that you could put pro males on the same ice as pro females. That's not what is meant to mean. It's two different kinds of ice hockey. Just like Olympic ice hockey is different from National Hockey League ice hockey. Just like European ice hockey is different from uh, North American ice hockey. Okay, it's all ice hockey, but there's differences in rules and the size of ice and the play and right, which is another reason that when you get a goaltender from Europe, especially if you're trying to put them directly into the National Hockey League, which I gotta be honest with you, unless you're really hurting for a goalie, at least 1 year for goalies, at least 1 year in the AHL, at least 1 year. It can't hurt, I'm telling you. Okay? Because it helps them transition a little better. Because they got to get acclimated to North America in the first place, and the language, and they have to understand how to maneuver their game. You understand? For goalies, okay, you're doing that goalie a solid, and you're doing anyone in the system where that goalie might play. If it's going to be your franchise goalie, you definitely do. Okay, try not to bring them directly from Europe and slap them in an NHL net. Okay, the position of goaltender takes more time to transition into, and especially with language barriers and the fact that European goaltending is like a different, it's like a different style. So they have to make adjustments to North America. And so having them under a little bit less pressure will, increase the odds of them transitioning up to the National Hockey League without certain issues. You can avoid certain things. It's healthier for them mentally. It's better for the franchise. It's better for if you're gonna trade that goalie. So I know I talked a little bit ice hockey, but these things need to be considered. And I need some people like telling people to relax and calm down. I can't like just just do this, okay? Ready? Breathe in. Hold. Hold. And then blow it all out. Your next breath, okay? It's like taking it's like getting yucky breath out of you. You got a tiny little bit of yucky. Okay, and so what you exhale all of it until you can't exhale. Your next breath, you understand, is like taking a reset for the body. Your body reset. Okay? So I'm being honest about things. I don't do performances. I mean, not intentional, right? I'm not a paid person like that, and I don't need to be anybody but me. I mean, but nobody wants to be me. I'm like, because you got something else that's meant for you. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So I, yeah, some of these things are going to be shut down because some weren't ready and it's being misunderstood, and we don't want the things that happened in the past to happen again. And so it may not be in your genetic memory, is what I'm telling the scientists right now. Okay, and sometimes not remembering something like amnesia or something is a merciful thing. Okay, because sometimes when you're young and trauma, other things like you can't handle it right away, and people may not understand it around you, and so it is actually a merciful thing. Sometimes when you can, and when you're ready, and when the body, you understand? Okay, so no, that's all. Try very hard to be a little less judgy, a little less every day, and turn some attention into yourself. Like pay attention to your own self sometimes. Make sure you know yourself really, really, really well. If you weren't taught to do that as a kid, because the best time is when you're children, but that is every single type of human being on planet Earth, everywhere, every human. It's exactly the same. Okay, help your children understand themselves really, really well. Okay, I mean they might be completely different from you as a parent. You don't really know, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't know. I had a kid love polka, right? I mean, it's just it. They may have come from you if genetic children, but some of them they might just be built a little differently, and they might you know run across like a bowling alley or something, and something that you've never done, and no one in your family, and blah blah blah. But suddenly you get this like avid, you know, die-hard bowler. You understand? Okay? You get what I'm saying? It is exactly the same for every single human being on planet Earth. Help the children understand themselves really, really, really well. And if you weren't taught that, it's not too late. Okay? It's not too late. It doesn't matter whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60s, or whatever. Okay? Take the time. Take the time to do that. Let somebody know. I gotta understand myself. I can't really explain to you because I don't really understand myself. Some people might not like that, and there may conflict. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes communication breakdown because people may not understand themselves well enough to understand how to communicate certain things. So, but help each other too. Okay, spend more time understanding that everybody makes a boo boo. Everybody thinks the wrong thing. Everybody doesn't understand certain things at a certain point in time. Everybody, has issues sometimes. Everybody's gets a little lost sometimes. Everybody gets a little confused sometimes. And, don't, people with high IQs really, what all that really means is that they can handle like a more overreaching amount of information and put it in a more easily understood package. Okay? That's all. I'm not saying that other people can't. It might take you a little longer. You might have to do it a different way. It doesn't mean that you're less than. Okay? That's not what it means. It's just different. Okay? It just means different. That's all. Okay? I do think war is infantile, to be honest. I'm allowed to say that. I mean, I'm in the U.S. and I'm allowed to say that. But I do want to remind some people, listen, if you are in the United States of America, please do keep in mind that if you are in the United States of America and you're using the World Wide Web, the internet, to bully, harass, and otherwise terrorize people in the United States, don't push it to the point where you actually get charged for domestic terrorism. So I think that children and adults alike should understand this and take a step back. You understand? Now, if it's somebody from another country and they're using the World Wide Web to, bully, harass, attack, mentally disturb, and basically terrorize anyone in the legally in the United States of America, well, that's also gets handled by certain parts of law. Okay? So, adults, be aware that, people are letting their 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds on regular internet. I don't agree with that. Okay, some do it for them or some supervise, but, you know, some may not have been parented properly, so they're not sure how to parent properly themselves. So instead of people blaming, like, there's a good song. This is why I like the band Genesis. I like the band Genesis music, but I also like Peter Gabriel music, and I also like Phil Collins music, and I also like Mike and the Mechanics. Okay, those guys collectively have put out a lot of music. Okay, but there's a song, every generation blames the one before. No, we don't. It's just a song. And yes, we can listen as well as we hear. And what they mean is you can listen as well as you hear. What that means is active listening, like taking it in, paying attention, letting it process a little, and understanding someone else's perspective. It's active listening. Well, if you actively listen, you have a better memory. It actually goes in there and gets put in there. You understand? Sometimes you gotta just sit there and be quiet and open your ears and listen to another intently on purpose. That's called active listening. So that's what they mean. You can listen as well as you hear because hearing is different. Like you can hear sounds, I can hear, you know, that there's basic ice hockey stuff they're talking about on my TV, which I'm not going to show you. I don't want any copyright issues, but I can't. I'm not actively listening because I'm actively speaking to you, and you understand. So I can hear it, but I'm not actively listening, so I don't really know what they're saying. You understand? Okay. Every human being on planet Earth. Okay, take a look. I'm not. lying to you, no falsehoods. I'm not purposely being deceptive in any way, not in any way. Every single human being on planet Earth is exactly the same no matter what. Everybody help little children understand themselves really, really well. And if you somewhere and you weren't raised that way, you weren't taught, you can do it when you're 20, you can do it when you're 30, you can do it when you're 40, you can do it when you're 50, you can do it when you're 60. That is the truth. We aren't in a fallen world. So try very hard to know and understand that you don't know and understand it a lot. There's so much, the best scientists and the best this and the best of that, and the ones you know, right? No, there's tons about planet Earth we don't know. There's the only thing I'm going to mention about eyesight is they're humans. They have lives and children. Some have this. They have interests outside. It's okay that they're human beings, and it's okay for the National Hockey League males to know. No, you're human beings, and I know sometimes some of you convince yourselves to take on more than you need to take on. So if some of your friendlies are telling you, dude, yeah, we're here. You know what I'm saying? Fellas, it's okay to be human, gentlemen. If you need help with that, talk to somebody. Sometimes males would rather talk to females about that kind of. Okay, so if you don't feel comfortable, right, but talk to somebody. I don't know, talk to God, write it down, write a book, make a journal, until you're comfortable enough to understand I'm a human being. And it doesn't matter what the press says and wants, and it doesn't matter even if the coach is yelling at me. You understand? But that is why the love of the sport is incredible. It can get to be a grind for the, I understand. Like that's not natural, but there's players, and that's why some players are on teams because they know how to like energize a room and wake you up and be like, I know. But this is also what I'm saying about what happened to the Jets. The Kings, right? Boring ice hockey. So Winnipeg Jets ice hockey players. So those of you that are used to know how to kind of like understand how to air quote be bored sometimes. Outbore the other team. Sometimes you slow way down. Like I know I'm really fast, but I'm gonna slow way down. Okay? It is all the same equally for every single human being on planet Earth. Right? You guys can check. That doesn't look like I mean, I'm definitely not being deceptive. I'm definitely not trying to, say stuff that, I don't really have an agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't come with an agenda. It's all off the hip. This is just me, real me, and everyday unscripted life. And those of you, if you've been into, like, take the time to check with other people. Take the time to talk about it. Take the time to know yourself really, really well. And that's what we can do for the children all over planet Earth. Help them understand themselves really, really well. But we're not in a fighting world. Okay? I'm truthful. Like, I'm doing straight arrow the whole way because I don't know how else to do. I don't know how else to do. But no, women's professional sports are still rising, particularly ice hockey. You understand? So the men may be here, but that does not make them, doesn't make you any less than human. It doesn't make you less than. It doesn't make you not equal. It's women's ice hockey still rising. But the males, you know what I'm saying? And they'll reach a plateau point. You know what I'm getting at? All right? You guys quit analyzing, talking. Take a break sometimes from what you're doing. Step away from it and do something else for like a day or a week or a month, right? Sometimes take a full year off if you need to. It's one of the reasons why universities around the world offer professors sabbatical. It's called a sabbatical. Okay. Love is not dead. The goodness is abundant. Let's all equally just try to be a little less judgy and understand, well, we may not know a whole bunch of stuff about the situation. Okay? All right. Amen. Goodness reigns.